north where the engines roar. V-Speed's a name you can't ignore. We're the kings of the track, yeah, we run the show. Ain't nobody else that can come close. V-Speed's the best. We light up the screen, blowing past the rest. It's a mean, mean machine. We take the crown, leave the others in the dust. Say it with me now, 'cause in V-Speed we trust. We don't just talk, we walk the line. While the others choke, we shine, 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 shine. Turn up the heat, crank up the sound. V-Speed's the force that shakes the ground. V-Speed's the best. We light up the screen, blowing past the rest. It's a mean, mean machine. We take the crown, leave the others in the dust. Say it with me now, 'cause in V-Speed we trust. Let them try, let them fight, they can't compete. V-Speed's the fire, can't stand the heat. We're rolling thunder, we're lightning fast. We're the future, they're stuck in the past. To the last lap, V-Speed's the name they can't unwrap. We're the voice, the speed, the southern pride. With V-Speed, you know we ride or die. V-Speed's the best. We light up the screen, blowing past the rest. It's a mean, mean machine. We take the crown, leave the others in the dust. Say it with me now, 'cause in V-Speed we trust. Yeah, you know what to say, 'cause in V-Speed we trust. We're the kings of the broadcast. In V-Speed we trust.
Tonight, it's race number 7 from the high banks and notable yellow walls of Southern National Motorsports Park. You won't miss anything from tonight from the Misfit Touring Series Season 2 presented by V-Speed. My name is Scott Shive. We're joined by Sky Shrek in the booth and our executive producer, DJ Lion. Well, we're here for race number 7, Sky, at a track that I absolutely love in the sim and in real life. It always provides excellent racing, and it's what we're going to be talking about here tonight all night long, because this track, it is 0.4 of a mile, very, very short, and can get very, very aggressive here at this style of racing with the late model stock. First of all, what are you expecting to see here for this race in number 7 with this short of a track in these high banks?
I think it's going to be maybe one of the cleaner races we've seen this season. I think a lot of these drivers will have a lot of experience at this track. Very common short track on iRacing. A lot of series run it. Everybody knows it pretty well, and I'm hoping that leads to some cleaner racing here tonight compared to last week.
You talked about everyone knowing it. This is one of the free tracks that iRacing gives you when you get a membership. So everyone races here in the Rookie Oval Series, so it's very familiar to all the drivers out there, and I'm expecting to see great action here tonight from it because the racing always puts on a show from Southern National Motorsports Park. We're going to talk about the schedule. Obviously, this is race number 7. It would be number 8, but again, we're going to get back to New Hampshire at some point here with a double feature. Up next, we'll go to Oxford Plains Speedway next week, following Christmas break in the middle of next week. And Oxford Plains, a notable speedway that we'll get to talk about after this race. Then we got the long track of Phoenix, a shorter feature, 50 laps, but that's because it is a mile-long oval. And then we'll go to South Boston, another 0.4 of a mile oval. So we got some interesting and exciting tracks coming up here in the coming weeks as we turn the year into the book and turn the pages of 2025 and close the chapter of 2024. But we've got more than half the season left to go here in Season 2 of the Misfit Touring Series. New point standings this week. Jake Sylvia has now topped the points. He has taken the rise to the lead above Kyle Terzak after Terzak missed last week.
Yeah, Terzak dropping down to second, but we just saw him win on V-Speed in the MRL last night in the Rudolph 250, so he'll be looking to get that points lead back tonight at Southern National. Wiseman and Peterson, two drivers who have had really good runs this season, 3rd and 4th, and I'd expect Justin Crowe to be a contender tonight, running in 5th. He's the fastest car right now in qualifying.
Yeah, Justin Crowe has been one of those in the top 5 all of this season in the standings. Now he's down to 5th. Christian Peterson and Michael Weissman move up the charts as well as other drivers. Deegan Smith bounces up to the top 10. He was out in 13th and 12th in the past 2 weeks, but now he is broken into that top 10. So a lot of these guys up here that we expect to be up front, most of these races are moving up in the season point standings so far. So if you thought Terzak was going to be able to walk away with it, well, Jake Sylvia is back atop the charts yet again. Last time he was on the top of the point standings was when he won the championship last year in Season 1.
For sure. He's got a lot of speed in that car. Going to tell you a little bit about Southern National here tonight, located in Lucama, North Carolina, about 45 minutes outside of Raleigh. As you said, a 4/10 mile oval, banking of 17 in the turn, 7 degrees down the straightaways, a little bit like Dover in that aspect with the banking down the straightaways. Opened in 1993, closed in the mid 2000s, but reopened again in 2012. It was first added to iRacing in 2015, and as you said, it's a free track, so I bet a lot of these guys in this series know it really well.
Yeah, I got it first off, ran it in the street stocks. Really couldn't understand the track with the street stock. It was new to iRacing, new to figuring everything out. And as you go on, you just talk about that lower line because that will be the conversation all night long. A lot of tracks we go to are bottom lane dominant, but some of them you're allowed to make passes at the top. You're allowed to make hay at the top like we saw last night at North Wilkesboro, but here you cannot do anything on that top line. The only thing you can do is maybe pinch a driver down on the bottom, but if you get to the inside of someone on the bottom, you will take the spot unless you wreck them instead, because the bottom is so dominant here at this style track with that 17-degree banks.
Oh, for sure. A lot of short tracks, you said, are very bottom dominant, especially the ones we've gone to this season. This is one of the best examples of that. You've really got to be down on that inside. You got to hit a fine line between going all the way down on the bottom and not clipping the apron, because if you do, it's quite easy to slide it back up the racetrack and maybe hit whoever is on the outside of you.
It is really easy to get down there and hit that apron, but if you want to have the best time, you want to be ringing that bottom and have those left sides as close to the apron as possible. So we're just going to see all of that as we go on tonight. Qualifying has just been completed. Justin Brooks will have the pole here tonight. He had it last night in the Rudolph 250, but it didn't go his way. Was wrecked out in halfway through that race after pit stop. So he'll be looking to rebound here in the Touring Series. And Kyle Terzak will start second again like he did last night. But one guy that I want to talk about sits there in 4th, Casey Beatty. We haven't seen him all season long here for Season 2, but he ran a good half of the portion last year in Season 1, and he was actually the first Triple Crown winner. He is a notable driver, and he's very fast. I expect to see him making some waves here tonight.
Yeah, there's a couple other newer drivers in this series. Just looking at the running order, you see Matt Zaccardo making his first start this season. Same with Benjamin Gerhardt in the 13. A couple cars you're going to see in these first few heat races that haven't run at all this season, making their debut tonight at Southern National. They're going to hope for a good run to try to get a late start on the point standings.
Yeah, we saw a few of those drivers make their debut, at least in MRL last night at the Rudolph 200, but this will be their debut in the Touring Series, and we'll have to see what they can provide here at a much shorter track than we saw last night at North Wilkesboro. We'll have our starting grid for the first heat. Kyle Adams will start on pole, and on his outside will be Jace Hale. We haven't seen Jace Hale in a couple weeks, but he's back and ready to go in his number 9. The 015 of Craig Wilcott will start third, and on his outside will be Matt Zaccardo. Ran last night in the Rudolph and was especially strong. Alex Alinar in the 57 makes his comeback this week after a few weeks off, and he is in the 5th spot. In 6th, and rounding out our first heat will be the 14 of Kyle Martuik.
Yeah, and top 5 qualifiers will automatically go to the feature tonight. Those are Justin Brooks, Kyle Terzak, Justin Crow, Casey Beatty, and Jake Sylvia. So those 5 are all to the feature. Kyle Adams was the first qualifier who did not automatically advance, and we'll have to go through the heats tonight. We are taking everybody, so no last chance qualifier. Everyone who's in this heat will make the main event. It's just for position.
That's right. Tonight we have 16 drivers making up the entirety of our field, so everyone will make the feature race tonight, and it's going to be exciting here. Look at that setup by Kyle Adams. Look at how high his left rear is. He was talking to me earlier before we went live, and he was talking about Jake Grout. His setup earlier, at least, I don't know if it was going to be his race setup, but his left rear wasn't even touching the ground down in the straightaways. So it was something I've never seen before, and something that I guess he was trying out. And so we're just going to have to see if he's going to race on a setup like that. I would imagine not, because you need that left front on the ground, planting the car in these corners. We got 5 cars gridding up. Kyle Martuik not gridding up here in his heat race. So we'll have to see if he joins us for the feature, because again, everyone will make it. But the green flag is out for Kyle Adams in heat race number 1 at Southern National.
Kyle Adams away into turn 1, and like you said, interesting to see what's going to happen with that setup. That was not intentional. He said someone was messing with the left front of his car before the races. They don't know what changes were made, but something is wrong. With the setup on the 24, seems to be holding down pretty well for now. He'll pull up in front of Jace Hale, and he's going to be crossed over to the inside by the 9.
Yeah, that left front is off the ground for the car of the 24, Kyle Adams. Jace Hale takes advantage of that missed setup and moves to the inside, and now takes the lead here on lap number 2.
Wilcott's now going to have his sights set up on that wounded 24 car of Kyle Adams. Zaccardo, one of the drivers who did really well in the Rudolph 250 last night, running back there in 4th right now. We'll see if he can have the same speed at Southern National as he did at North Wilkesboro. He's trying to get around Craig Wilcott for 3rd.
Well, he takes the dive to the inside here, coming into turn 1 and 2. Matt Zaccardo absolutely ringing it here at Southern National. He brings it up into 3rd position, now sets his sight on Kyle Adams ahead, only 2/10 back. Right there, wow, diving to the inside back here. Kyle Adams leaves him the space in turns 3 and 4. Zaccardo gets a great run off the corner. Behind them, Wilcott slams the wall.
Yeah, and Jace Hale is getting away. He's pulled a 2nd to the lead in this feature race, and Zaccardo's going to try to get around Kyle Adams for 2nd. That's important, because if you get front row in this race, we're going to have an invert before the main event, and you'll be flipped from the start, or from 1st in your heat race to 1st starting position in the main race. So Jace Hale, depending on what the invert is, has a pretty good chance of starting on the front row once this is all said and done.
We'll have to see how that invert plays out, but right now, 3 laps to go for Hale, 1.3 seconds out front. Now 2 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line, round through turns 1 and 2. That bright number 9 car in the black and red paint scheme. He is absolutely rounding it through. He'll come here to take the white flag. Southern National dives down here into turn 1. No combatants back from Matt Zaccardo or Craig Wilcott in 2nd and 3rd. So Jace Hale looking to make his first win, at least in the heats, at Southern National.
Kyle Adams is going to come across 4th behind Zaccardo and Wilcott, and he is going to need to get that thing figured out before the main event, because he dropped a lot of time in just 10 laps there.
Yeah, it just that left front not being able to plant itself on the straightaway and somewhat into the corner. He's just not getting as much grip as that car would like and as much as it needs, especially to hold this bottom. You saw it was so easy for him to slide up in the corner that allowed other drivers to get to his inside. But for the second heat race, Jake Grout in the 49 car will start on pole, followed by Brad Carpenter, who is outside. Brad Carpenter, we haven't seen him back in a couple weeks, but he's back here ready to go yet again. Blake Notstead in the 23 starts third. Benjamin Gerhardt saw him debut for the first time in MRL last night at the Rudolph, but now, like some others like Zaccardo and others, he'll debut his first night in the Misfit Touring Series tonight. And starting fifth will be Bradley Stefan. We saw him earlier in the season have some issues with some other drivers and suspensions, but he's back this week for race number 7.
Yeah, you were mentioning incidents and suspensions. We do have some drivers on probation for this race. Kyle Terzak and Justin Crow are the two drivers who are in the field tonight who are on probation for this race, so they better be on their best behavior, both in these heats and in the main event. Jared Schell received a season suspension in recent weeks, so he will be done for the year.
Yeah, we saw some incidents with Jared Schell happen in the past couple of weeks, and so he just wasn't getting along with other drivers, and MRL is very strict about how their drivers race. They want clean, respectful racing, and Schell just wasn't quite able to provide that here this season, so he'll have to come back for season 3 and maybe make his return. Looking along with Brad Carpenter on the hood cam. I love to see this car. He'll start on the outside of Jake Grout right here. The green flag is out. Grout to the bottom on the inside, but Brad Carpenter putting up a fight already.
Grout's gonna get the space. They might go single file. No, they won't. Nottestad's gonna stick the nose up the inside of the 31 of Carpenter. They're gonna go side by side out of the corner. 31 is really loose, but he's going to hold a bit of a lead back down into turn 1. They're still side by side out of 2.
Brad Carpenter just not quite able to hold the bottom. Swings up high here, has to move in behind Notstead and then keep the fight away from Bradley Stefan right there, as he will be attacking in that 89 car. But right now, Jake Grout out by 7/10 of a second already.
Grout is pulling away. We know he's one of the faster cars in this series. Didn't get the qualifying effort he wanted, but I would expect him to make a charge in the main event tonight. Just ran the fastest lap of the heat race in that 49. Got the same winter scheme we saw in the Rudolph 250 last night. It's a pretty nice one.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great time to have these winter festive schemes as Christmas is right around the corner. And what better Christmas gift would it be to start here on the front pole for the feature race tonight? Because he might if he finishes first, and he would love to win the feature tonight, as we got a battle back for third position. This is Bradley Stefan on the inside of Brad Carpenter.
Stefan trying to stick the nose up the inside. Maybe a little bit of contact between those two cars, but they keep it steady. Stefan started out back in this heat race, but he's pulled it up to third. If he can get around Nottestad, that'd be plus 3 rows on the starting grid for the 89 car.
As you can see, it is just so hard to hold that top lane. There's almost nothing you can do. Saw the Brad Carpenter once both of the drivers of Nottestad and Stefan got to the inside. There was no fight that he could put up once they were there. So you really want to make sure your car is holding the bottom all night long. And will that prevent some passing here tonight as we come to 2 laps to go for Jake Grout? Will people be able to block on the bottom and defend with that being so dominant?
Hey, we've seen some bumpers used in this series, and I don't think tonight's going to be any exception here at Southern National. Stefan's peeking to the inside, and Nottestad as we come to the white flag. Battle for second is still on between the 23 and the 89. Stefan holding down the inside, but the 23 squeezes him low. They're going to go side by side. Photo finish for second. It's Nottestad. Oh, it's Stefan. It switched back on us.
Stefan gets the run on the inside, just so much stronger through that inside. He'll move up a row for the starting grid of the feature. It was Jake Grout that won the heat race. We're going to send you trackside for the national anthem. with the 2 heats out of the way, it's time for race number 7 and the feature race here tonight. So we're going to line you up. The grid is ready and set. Justin Brooks will start on the pole. We're going to have a grid invert of 8 tonight, so he'll be relegated back to the 8th spot. Kyle Turzak will start back there in 7th. Then moving up front for them, that'll be Justin Crow on the inside, and then Casey Beatty in the 45. Then behind them, or will be in front of them, Jake Sylvia and Kyle Adams. Then who will be your front row for this race, or excuse me, it might be one more, Jake Grout and Jace Hale will make up that starting row, and I think the driver who will be on your pole will be that of Matt Zaccardo, not gridded up yet. Brad Carpenter here will start 9th, and Craig Wilcott starting 10th.
Back behind them, Blake Nottestad rolls off 11th tonight. Matt Zaccardo in the 60 rolls off 12th. Benjamin Gerhardt 13th in the 13, and Alex Hallinar 14th in the 57. And behind them, it's going to be Bradley Stefane in the 89 and 15th. Kyle Martiuk in the 14 car will roll off last on the field in 16th.
Yeah, Martuik has not gridded up here yet. He didn't grid up for his heat race. And so we're just going to see if he'll grid up. But if not, we'll have a 15-car field here tonight for this feature race. 125 laps here tonight. Normally we see 100, but this track is just under half a mile, so we'll go for 125. Pit road speed is 135 miles per hour. Not sure if we'll see any pit stops here tonight. One fast repair is available here for these drivers if they are involved in incident. And again, we'll always have 100% fuel and open setups for these drivers. So we see a lot of different setups. Teams come out here to compete in these races. RKM setups, one of the most notable for a lot of our drivers like Turzak, Brooks, and others that use RKM, and then others, some using their own, and more.
Yeah, and you're seeing our invert get done on the racetrack right now. It's going to be Zaccardo starting on the pole tonight. Grout to the outside. Air temperature 70 degrees. Track temp is the same. A little bit of a cool track today at that Southern National.
Yeah, that'll provide excellent grip down in these corners. I wonder if the sun will be heating up the track a little bit right now. Another thing that I haven't gotten to experience here is we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it for the next few weeks. iRacing continued update of the debris model, and marbles are a huge factor to build up here at Southern National. So you want to make sure to stay out of them. Last night we saw at North Wilkesboro, they were extremely slick. And so for some of those cars, we're going to have to make sure to be watching them, because if you get in those marbles, it can get dicey real quick. Matt Zaccardo on the pole, Jake Grout on his outside, green flag is out, 125 laps here at Southern National. Zaccardo and Grout side by side as they complete lap 1. Zaccardo has the edge here in turn 1. Will he take the spot away from Grout? Yes, he will. Pole sitter Matt Zaccardo gets out front, single file to this lead, but Grout not done, dives to the inside here, lap number 3.
You're already seeing some of the invert cars start to make moves. Sylvia up to 4th. Big send behind there. Sylvia, huge peek to the inside on Jace Hale. Couldn't get the spot, but he tried to go for it. He's getting aggressive back there, and it's only lap 3.
It's only lap 3, 120 something yet to go. Oh, drivers slamming the wall out of turn 2. That's something that you'll see here a lot tonight. So easy to make contact with that outside wall, and it will slow down your lap, as you see off the rear bumper of Sylvia. Kyle Turzak moving to the inside of Casey Beatty. Beatty stuck on that outside. Justin Brooks right behind him trying to get the spot, but you cannot get stuck on the outside because you will plummet.
Lost 2 spots in one corner on the top there, and he still can't get in because he's got Stefane holding the inside behind him. Beatty's going to drop all the way outside the top 8 positions, and he's going to finally try to get down in front of Nottestad. He will. He'll get back to the inside and immediately throw a crossover on the 89 of Stefane.
Beatty started 5th in this race after the invert. He's now in 8th as he passes back Stefan on the inside. So he's got some ground to make up here. Here is Nottestead on the inside of Stefan. So Stefan falling back a little bit as he tried to work to the inside of Casey Beatty. Meanwhile, Jake Grout has taken the lead away from Zaccardo just a lap ago, but Zaccardo and Hale right behind them, all nose to tail here at the front.
Close race up front. We've seen a couple of cars slam the wall out of these corners today. You saw Beatty do it once. You saw Stefan do it once. The walls really come up on you when you're exiting 4, especially when you're on the outside lane. We've seen a couple cars scrape it like Zaccardo and Hale both do right there.
Hale both make contact there. You got to be careful as this race goes on with multiple contacts. You might damage that right front. As we see right here, Kyle Turzak worked to the inside of Jake Sylvia. He'll get 4th position. Now goes for a dive down on Jace Hale. Justin Brooks also moves in front of Sylvia right here. So Turzak and Brooks working through the field after the invert.
Turzak already up to 4th. Started this race back in 7th. Brooks started in 8th. He's up to 5th. Hale now is going to get passed by Turzak, who's going to send it to the inside on the faster line. He should be able to prevail for P3. And now he's only got the 2 cars that started on the front row and were up front in the heats. Zaccardo and Grout in front of him.
Right now, Grout and Zaccardo running 14-2s, 14-3s. Meanwhile, Turzak is running in the 1s and 2s, and Justin Brooks the same right behind them. So Turzak and Brooks are your 2 fastest cars in the field, and who's surprised after they started on the front row before the invert?
For sure, Turzak, it's never surprising when he's quick. He's now looking on Zaccardo for 2nd. It's only taken him 15 laps to drive it up to 2nd, showing that speed that we all know he has, that he's shown in about 3 different races this season now. He's got that thing moving, and Jake Grout is the only thing standing between him and some laps led.
Turzak and Brooks nose to tail past Zaccardo in 1 lap. Meanwhile, Jace Hale absolutely falling through the field. He's back to 7th now. He's passed by Jake Sylvia and Justin Crow. So falling through the field is Hales. You'll see him up top right there. Jay Grout still out front. He's led every lap of this race except for the first 3, but it's Turzak hunting him down right now, under 3 tenths of a second between the 2 of them.
He's really closing that gap. Look at that. It's down to about half a car length and closing. Turzak's all over the bumper. He might have a chance to peek it into 1, but he won't. He's quicker right on here. Exits. Yeah, you're going to see it right here. Now he's going to go to the inside of Jake Grout down into 3. He'll hold the inside, side by side, across the start-finish line.
Turzak shows his nose entering 3, wasn't quite able to get it done. Grout had a great exit, but now gets great exit here for Turzak. Shows the nose yet again, dives it down here into turn 3. A great shot here from the action cam. Right behind them is Brooks, looking to capitalize if either of them make a mistake.
He peeked to the outside so we could send it to low on the inside on exit. Couldn't get the move done on Turzak though, so he backs out back to 3rd. These cars are tight for the top 3 positions, and then there's a gap back to Matt Zaccardo behind.
You can see Jake Grout absolutely pushing his car to the limit. Meanwhile, Turzak looking more like he's free rolling. Almost contact between the 2 of them. There is contact here on the front straightaway. Turzak dives it into turn 1, tries to make the pass for the lead. He will. Grout moves up high. Turzak to the lead. Brooks follows him through.
You can tell Grout wasn't used to running the high line there, because the first time someone sent him up the racetrack, he sent it straight into the wall down the back straightaway. He'll drop 2 spots for that, and now Turzak and Brooks are 1 and 2. You got to remember, Turzak's on probation this week, so maybe he won't be as willing to use his bumper as he was otherwise.
He's been careful so far, hunted down Jake Grout, passed him carefully and cleanly, but right there, riding his bumper like 2 train cars connected at the hitch, it's Justin Brooks looking to capitalize. These are our 2 fastest drivers as we know. Justin Brooks has 2 wins on the season. Kyle Turzak has 4. There are 2 winningest drivers so far. Evan Hassler, the only other winner so far in the Touring Series.
Yeah, and they're a second ahead of the next person who qualified up in the top 5. That was Jake Sylvia, who started in 5th, was inverted to 4th, and now he is running in 5th. 1.2 seconds to that car. Justin Crow, who we thought might have similar speed to these top 2, is still back there in 6th. So Turzak and Brooks have been able to drive through the field while seemingly nobody else back there has been able to.
And you gotta wonder if other of these lap traffic will be a story and a factor here tonight, as we've got a back marker of Benjamin Gerhardt coming up for these leaders. They're about 4 seconds back from that 13 of Gerhardt. That will be a factor here tonight. This track is so short that you can come up on lap traffic very quickly with the green flag run like this, but still connected like hitches of a train car. Turzak and Brooks right there together.
Brooks got a little bit of a Christmassy paint scheme on that 33 car. You see it going around here, all red and green there. See some lap cars navigating, or that's not lap cars, that's just Jake Grout really slow on the top.
Jake Grout got
49 car.
He moved up into those marbles, got way loose as he was being passed by Sylvia and Zaccardo. We'll get a VC replay here presented by DriverTees.com. You'll see him right here in front of Zaccardo. Goes high here and then gets in those marbles. So slick for him and not able to make the pace on the top. Then here comes Justin Crow to the inside and Casey Beatty follows him through. It's so slick when you get up high in those marbles.
Man, he was going so slow, I thought he was a lap car. He was like a second off the pace, both of those corners. Going all the way back to 6th, and now Justin Crow is going to try to get him for that 6th position. Meanwhile, more lap traffic for Turzak and Brooks. They're going to get around to 13 of Benjamin Gerhardt.
Yeah, meanwhile, I wanted to make a note. Bradley Stefane has pulled off the racetrack. He is now 3 laps down. Don't know if that was for incident. We didn't get a caution, obviously, if there was, but he is on pit road, now going 4 laps down, so it might be day done for driver of the 89.
Bad start to this race for him if he does pull it out. Well, I saw him, he was running about 10th, dropped it to the very rear of the field at some point. Wonder if he just hit the wall really hard out of the corner and it caused some damage to that right front like you saw on pit road.
That's what I have to imagine. Alex Hallinar here pulling to the bottom in that 57, trying to get out of the way of these leaders. So Hallinar with the third car to go a lap down here in this race, but it's still Turzak and Brooks out front. They've got a 2.6 second lead over Matt Zaccardo in third. Meanwhile, Zaccardo being hounded by Jake Sylvia, and Casey Beatty's right there as well.
Yeah, Stefane just saying over the radio he's got right front damage from hitting the wall and he can't keep the pace, so he's just going to park it and go home.
Yeah, you hit the wall so many times the right front gets towed out and you start scrubbing the tire so much you just can't make pace. Alex Hallinar has also disconnected from the session. We saw him pull down off the track. He is disconnected and is our second driver out of this race here tonight. Meanwhile, Jake Sylvia trying to move up into the top 3 on the inside of Matt Zaccardo. He will run it through turns 1 and 2, absolutely flying through that bottom.
Race has been clean and green, but still a little bit of a race of attrition. With those cars being contact to the wall, oh, I cursed it, Zaccardo is backwards.
Zaccardo backwards out of turn number 4. The first caution of the night comes entering lap number 42.
I was saying it was clean and green, and I didn't even finish my sentence before I looked back and Zaccardo sideways off turn 4.
That's like 3 times in 2 nights.
It's not going well.
Take a look back at the DriverTees.com replay to what happened to Matt Zaccardo. Oh, yeah, he got in those marbles and got loosed.
Yeah, Jake Grout taking a little bit of a contact to kind of straighten him out there. Would have gone fully around into the inside wall if he didn't hit the 49.
Yeah, lucky the 49 was there to be able to catch him. Take a look, a ride on the back of cars behind. This is a ride on Jake Grout. You'll see Matt Zaccardo in the Silver Bullet. Right there here, entering turn 3 on the high line in those marbles, starts to go sideways right here, and then Grout gives him a little tap. There might be some damage for Jake Grout on his right front.
Potentially, Zaccardo has obviously claimed the caution. He will go to the back of the field on this restart for that spin. We've seen a couple cars now have a lot of problems where they kind of try to shoot the high line, go up a little too much, get in those marbles, and either lose a ton of time or spin it out. You can see those marbles right there. You got about 1.5 usable lanes of racetrack. Anywhere to the inside or to the outside, you're going around.
Yeah, you have to be so careful when you're put on that high line. You have to be so careful to keep it so close. And that's one of the things, one of the useful factors of this track. If you're on the outside, the only thing you can do is pinch down the driver below you. That's going to not allow them to get a good exit off of the corner and allows you to keep momentum on the outside. That's the only way you can defend on the outside. Speaking of the outside, Kyle Turzak chooses the outside here for the first restart of the night. Green flag is out here to complete lap 46.
Another good jump for Kyle Turzak. He'll take it back to the lead over Justin Brooks. Casey Beatty goes up to second. Jace Sylvia in fourth. Kyle Adams struggled in that heat race, but he seems to have the car fixed out. The left front is closer to the ground. He's got it moved up to fifth.
He's up 7 spots from the start of this feature race. Jake Sylvia got loose on the bottom. You saw the 24 able to prevail. Enters high here in turns 3. That gives him great momentum on the exit of the corner. This is how you defend on the top line. But Doug gets a wiggle here in turn 3. That'll get him side by side, door to door here entering turn number 3.
Side by side for third, Sylvia, or by that Jake Grout watching behind. While this is happening, Justin Crow in the 86 car was running in the top 5. He's gone a lap down under that last caution. Sylvia trying to prevail, but he won't for now. Kyle Adams fighting back.
Adams fighting hard on the outside, but now Sylvia has the edge. Jay Grout throws it in on the bottom, trying to prevail from that. You can see the damage. Oh, as they make contact, Adams and Grout. You can see that damage on Grout with the contact earlier from Zaccardo.
Yeah, a couple cars with damage. Kyle Adams got a little bit of a bend in that left front, too. A lot of cars have hit the wall and are kind of running with some residual damage from those scrapes.
Oh, contact!
Jake Grout around on the front straightaway.
Jake Grout makes contact with Kyle Adams at the exit of turn 4, bounces him to the inside, heavy contact with the inside wall.
Yeah, we'll see it on the DriverTees.com replay. That looks like it might be a little more than a residual scrape on the front end of that 49 car, hitting the inside wall and pretty hard into the side of Kyle Adams on the front straightaway.
Kyle Adams went ahead and claimed this caution. You'll see them make contact. Adams gets loose out of turn 4, has to come down the track to gather it up, and Jake Grout was coming up to try to make position, and they make contact.
So that'll send Kyle Adams in that Christmas V-Speed paint scheme back to the rear of the field tonight. Yep, just came a little bit down the racetrack. Nowhere Jake Grout could go.
Yeah, and that's just a racing incident. You saw Adams get loose there, wasn't able to do anything about it except catch his car to keep himself from spinning. And Grout was on the attack, trying to get the position from him, comes up the track to try to get as much momentum as possible. Obviously didn't know Adams was loose.
For sure. Not a lot you can do in that situation when someone to the outside of you just gets squirrely off the corner. The only thing you really can do is try not to spin it into the inside wall, and unfortunately Jake Grout wasn't that lucky this time.
Yeah, luckily he has one fast repair. He has not used it yet. He's still out on track right now, has not brought it to pit road. So as of now, he's going to live with the damages that he's sustained so far. Currently sits back in 9th. Adams sits in 10th right now. Matt Zaccardo, after the damage earlier, he is now on pit road.
Interesting. He is going to stay on the lead lap here. He does not go a lap down. I think he might be putting some tires on that car right now.
Looks like he's putting on left sides only for the driver of the 60 car. Yes, only left sides, as we've racked them up, stacked them up, and got ready to go. So Zaccardo gonna have to make it out quick as we got the green flag out for Turzak and Brooks.
Yeah, interesting timing to come down pit road here, because as Turzak gets a great start on the restart and gets away, you're already seeing Zaccardo ahead of him in the corner. He's going to need a quick caution or else he might fall a lap down. Justin Brooks is going to jump to the inside on Kyle Turzak. We're going to go side by side for the lead.
Battle between the two fastest cars so far in the night. Brooks finally takes advantage of that inside line, able to get the inside of Turzak. A little bit of contact outside of turn 4, but down here in turn 1, side by side here for the lead.
Really squeezing that 115 of Turzak up to the outside wall, coming off those corners. Brooks is doing everything he can to hold the spot. Meanwhile, Brooks is squeezing him all the way down to the apron off the corners because he doesn't want to be in the marbles Nobody giving any room to the other driver, and that's how we're staying even, still side by side like we've been for the last 2 or 3 laps.
This is what I talked about. You see Turzak, as he slams the outside wall. I was just going to talk about how he'd done so well at wrapping the top line, being able to pinch down the driver of the 33, but right there, got a little bit higher than he wanted to and slams the outside of turn 2. Right here, he's a little bit higher than he would want as well. Finally, Brooks gets a little bit of the edge inside of turn number 3.
Turzak is really trying to steal the run away from Brooks. He wants to make sure that he can't get anything off the corner. That's why he's running so low on exit. Meanwhile, Brooks, again, running all the way up to that right rear of Turzak. If he can't get the exit, he's going to maximize the entry.
These two side by side for so long, this is going to be burning up their tires a little bit more than other drivers. Casey Beatty right now content to run in third behind these two. He'll have more stuff later on if this side by side battle continues on. See Turzak lose there out of turn 4, might be losing it here. Yes, clear in front is Justin Brooks. A little bit of an edge for Turzak, so not quite clear, but he'll have it right here outside of turn 4, coming to complete lap 66. New leader, pole sitter Justin Brooks.
Turzak's not going to go away there. He was able to get down in between Brooks and Beatty there in the 45. Not going to drop any more spots on that outside. He's got the single file in line there. See if he can keep it going. You can see the damage on the right front from his hit to the wall there. I wonder if that's hurting him in a similar way to what it did with Bradley Stefane.
It shouldn't be hurting him too much, but any more major contact like that, and it will, as you see, lap car of Zaccardo coming up quickly to these leaders. So Zaccardo, if he does not get a quick caution, he will go a lap down here in this race. A driver that we know is actually extremely fast. Again, we saw Zaccardo debut last night in the Rudolph 250 and had a great performance there, finishing within the top 10. And we saw him performing well here tonight up in the top 5, but had an unlucky break, getting loose in the marbles early on.
Turzak is there in second. He's dropping back from Brooks. We're playing a bit of follow the leader here. Last time around, lap 70, coming off turn 2, Turzak slapped the wall. Following behind him, Beatty slapped the wall. And then following behind Beatty, Sylvia also slapped the wall. All 3 of these cars are running off of each other, and you see sometimes when the car in front hits the wall, it kind of starts a chain reaction, and some cars behind him end up in the fence as well.
Almost half a second between all 4 of the top drivers right now. That's Justin Brooks, Kyle Turzak, Casey Beatty, and Jake Sylvia. And rounding out your top 5 is Jace Hale. So almost all drivers 1 through 6, Brad Carpenter being the 6th, are almost half a second between each other. So almost completely even gaps here to the first 6.
Yeah, Justin Crowe was able to get his lap back. He was the lucky dog on that last caution. Drove it up from the back of the field to 8th. Alongside Kyle Adams, who got the EOL for claiming the caution. They've moved up ahead of Grout, Wilcott, and Nottestad, who are all struggling back there 9th through 11th.
Yeah, those drivers struggling, running 14 4s, 14 5s, and 14 6s right now. Adams gets way loose out of turn number 4, almost wrecks in front of Justin Crowe, loses the position to him, and now Jake Grout trying to overcome the damage from earlier, goes back to the inside again. These are the 2 drivers that caused our caution last time. We'll take a look back at the drivertees.com replay.
Yeah, we'll see how Kyle Adams lost it here. This is him coming down the back straightaway. Out of turn 4. Ooh, he's already kind of loose mid-corner there, and yep, just keep sliding it through 4. Good job to save it, not hit the inside wall, and he'll keep it going. Gets out in front of Jake Grout.
An excellent save by Adams there, only loses 1 spot, but now he's back to Jake Grout and Craig Wilcott. Were able to capitalize. Now Adams trying to go back to the inside of Wilcott. This is a battle for 9th.
I think if Grout gets another caution, he needs to just come down and take that fast repair, because it's really clear the damage he has on the right front is hurting his speed massively. He's falling back, and speaking of falling back, look back up front. Casey Beatty has lost a 1.5 seconds to Kyle Turzak.
Yeah, Casey Beatty, I think while we were looking at the incident between him and Adams, I think he had a moment out of turn 4, lost a lot of time to second place Turzak, and now he is in the clutches of Jake Sylvia, only 0.2 of a second behind him. This is a battle for the podium.
Turzak is starting to get away. As I said, 0.6 of a second. He's not really catching Brooks. Sylvia is now going to look to the inside of Beatty, who, yeah, he might have some damage on that right front too. Can't really tell from that angle. But Sylvia's got the faster car, and he's running on the inside right now. Moves Beatty all the way up to the wall down the straightaway, and Sylvia is going to pull up ahead to take the spot.
Beatty has to give it away, but pulls the crossover here down in turn one. Sylvia has to give him the lane. They're back side by side, but now it's Beatty on the inside. Loose out of turn number 2, won't be able to hold it, but now Sylvia drifts high out of turn number 4.
Fight continues, and they keep dropping back from those top 2 of Brooks and Turzak as they do it. Was 2.5 seconds, now it's up to 3.5 seconds, and as these cars fall back, look who's in 5th. Jace Hale on a bit of a comeback, was back on the very end of the top 10 earlier. He's got it back up to 5th.
He started on the front row for this race, but like you said, dropped back, and right behind him, Brad Carpenter, driver of the number 31 car. We haven't seen much of him here this season, but we know that he's a good driver behind the wheel. Has moved it up here into 6th, up 7 positions from the start of this feature as we come to complete lap number 87. We're almost 70% of the way through here.
Beatty's taking a peek to the inside of Jake Sylvia here. He's got the nose up to the quarter panel, trying to make something happen on the inside of the 1 car, but he doesn't have the speed. Sylvia is able to clear him back to the outside, and they'll stay 3 and 4 for now. Beatty just doesn't have it going. He's dropped 4 seconds to Brooks.
Yeah, whatever happened to him while we are away, looking at that DriverTees.com replay, he just doesn't have the same speed he did earlier. Earlier when Turzak was at the lead, something is on the back of his car. Not sure what it could be, but something is causing Beatty to be slow. Tries to set up a crossover here, drifts high in turn number 3 to set up excellent momentum out of turn number 4, just looking to take that 3rd spot back from Sylvia.
Maybe that's the issue with Beatty. He's too confused staring at the back of Sylvia's car, trying to figure out who's on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A few drivers' faces on the back of Jake Sylvia's car. Not sure who they are. I've got to imagine that one of them is maybe himself, and maybe one of the others is Kyle Adams. But whoever will be the third, maybe I'd guess Weissman or Deegan Smith. Not sure who it would be for them. Speaking of Weissman not making the field here tonight, driver in the 3rd point in standings is not going to make the feature race here tonight. Didn't even grid up at all tonight, so that's another notable factor. But Jake Sylvia, current points leader, takes it away from Kyle Turzak after Turzak misses it last week, and Beatty looking to make his mark for his first start of the season.
Yeah, he's quick back there in that 4 car. We're going to go back up to Brooks, driving that 33 at the front of the field. He's really gotten away from Kyle Turzak. Pulled about 0.8 of a second out here. I think that car, the 115, is going to need a pit stop, or is going to need some serious issues in lap traffic to be able to close that gap down. He's got 29 laps to go, though, and anything could happen.
Yeah, Turzak right now 1/10 off of the pace of Brooks, and I've got to imagine that all came from him being stuck on the outside for so long as they battled for the lead, degraded his tires more than Brooks as he was on the inside, and now that has given Brooks the tire advantage. Meanwhile, back for 3rd, the battle is still on between Beatty and Sylvia, side by side here out of turn 3 for 3rd.
Neither car wants to go away. They're about equal in pace, and they keep going back and forth for the final spot on the podium. Sylvia, your points leader coming into this race, is trying to hold Beatty down to the inside, but he gets the run out, and we stay equal across the start-finish line.
Still door to door, right next to each other out of the corner. These 2 drivers, neither will give it up. Sylvia looking to make more hay, keep his points lead going into next week. Meanwhile, Beatty trying to show us what he's made of after he won the Triple Crown at the end of Season 1.
Still side by side with 25 to go. This battle's been raging for about 20 laps. It feels like Carpenter back there in the 31 is starting to get the run, along with Justin Crow, who's driven it up to 6th. So Brad Carpenter and Justin Crowe are going to go side by side down into turn 3. We're side by side for 3rd. We're side by side for 5th. Sylvia loose out of the corner.
Tried to set up the crossover there, wasn't able to do it, getting loose. That solidifies Beatty into 3rd, but Sylvia's got to run right here. Meanwhile, right behind them, Justin Crowe gets around Brad Carpenter for the top 5. And meanwhile, behind them, Jace Hale has dropped back, but Brad Carpenter trying to throw the crossover isn't able to do it. So that's Justin Crowe in 5th, Brad Carpenter in 6th, and right in front of them, Sylvia in 4th, and Casey Beatty in 3rd.
I would not be surprised if Justin Crowe manages to get that final spot on the podium. We've seen him claw his way back. He was a lap down. He got the lucky dog at the last caution we had. He's pulled it back up into the top 5, and he's running a little bit faster than Sylvia and Beatty right now. Half a tenth quicker than the 45 last time around.
Currently 5th on the charts and 5th in the point standings. Right here, Jake Sylvia way loose in front of him. Sylvia just not able to hold the bottom like he could earlier. Used up those tires, and that might be why Crowe is just a little bit faster here than him and Beatty in front of him. He's only got 20 laps to do it, under 20 laps now, to make his way up through this field, up through these 2 drivers, because he's not going to get to 2nd, I can almost guarantee you, unless we have a caution, because Casey Beatty is 6 seconds back from 2nd place Kyle Turzak.
You see him trying to make the run on the straightaway. He's going high on entry into the corner so he can get the run out and get a peek to the inside of Sylvia like he's doing right here. Justin Crowe in the RKM setup shot machine has the speed to get to 4th. Carpenter tries to follow him through, and he will. Sylvia looks like he's going to go back to 6th.
Sylvia just doesn't have the grip. You saw him give away the bottom in there. One moment that I want to hitch on is Justin Crowe right there. You saw him on the inside of turn 3 and 4 when he was making the pass, held up just a little bit so that Sylvia was not able to dive back down and make the crossover. It was a beautiful play to make that pass and solidify Crowe into the top 4 now. Now he looks ahead to Beatty, who is only 0.8 of a second ahead of him with 14 laps to make the pass.
Hey, but last time around, Crowe was over a tenth quicker than Beatty. It was a 4.21 for Brooks, a 4.7 for Turzak, a 4.98 for Crowe, and a 6.26 for Beatty. That 86 car is faster than the 45. We've only got 13 to go, but I think he's going to be able to get up there. Ooh, near wreck with a lap car and Beatty. That's going to give Crowe the spot, or the advantage.
That was Benjamin Gerhardt on the outside, a lap car making contact with Casey Beatty. That narrows the gap between drivers 3rd place and 4th place, Beatty and Crowe. Now the gap is down to under 0.3 of a second between these 2 drivers. You see lap car Jake Grout get way high there, getting out of the way of these 2 drivers. Now Crowe tries to set the pass, gets momentum out of turn 2. He's closing in on Beatty for 3rd.
It looked like he was going to catch him right at the end of the race, but a little bit of an assist from the lap car has him on the bumper with 11 to go. 86 doing the same thing he did to Sylvia, going high into the corner so he can duck it down on exit and try to build up the speed to get a look on the inside. It might work right here. It will work right here. Justin Crowe will get to the inside of Casey Beatty.
You can see that Crowe knows he's faster, could have dove down earlier, but was patient and confident with his car, set up the pass when he needed to, and right now it's not going to be an easy fight to get around a driver like Casey Beatty, but right now Crowe just has the faster car. Will Beatty be able to hold him off there on the outside and pinch him down? Not right now, they're almost door to door.
Lot of speed in that 86 machine. Oh, and the caution's out! Kyle Adams is around on the racetrack.
This could change the entire look of this race. We were just under 10 laps to go when Adams has a problem on the front straightaway.
I guarantee you that Justin Brooks heard caution, caution in his ear and just yelled, "Are you kidding me?" He was so close to winning that race. He was completely clear, and Kyle Adams loops it in turn 4, same spot he got loose earlier, and that brings out the caution.
Yeah, Brooks was away by almost 2 seconds. Turzak was away from 3rd position by more than 7 seconds. Just a self-spin right there by driver of the 24. Definitely not what those front 2 drivers wanted to see. So this might change the lineup a lot more than we saw. You'll see some drivers bring it up the road. Kyle Adams brings it down. Sylvia brings it down. Grout brings it down. All those drivers having issues here tonight.
Look who's in the pit lane. Turzak brought it down. Turzak went into the pit lane.
Wow. He uses his fast repair for that damage earlier. I'm surprised to see him come down with 5 laps to go. Last night we saw him win the Rudolph 250 on 140 lap old tires. It looks like right now he's going to start back up in second, so where he was, but on a significant tire advantage to Justin Brooks in front of him.
I'm not entirely sure if he took tires.
Oh, I don't think
he
he
came
did.
down
Right.
pit road. He definitely came down and took the fast repair. But I think he got off without tires, yeah.
Yep, he took just the fast repair. So excuse me, they're going to have the same tires here, Brooks and Turzak. But Turzak has fixed his car from that slower damage he received earlier. So no fresh tires for Turzak. Brooks is going to choose the bottom here for the restart. When we get going green, we're going to have 2 laps to go. It's going to be a natural green-white checkered here for the end of this feature race. Again, if we get a caution before the green flag, we'll go again. But if not, it'll be decided. Green flag is out here. Time to decide the winner.
2 to go, and Brooks gets a good jump. Turzak chose the outside from 4th, and he's able to get back down to the inside on Justin Brooks. They're going to go side by side to the white flag. 1 lap to go.
Whatever happens here now, it's official. Turzak to the inside, working it on the bottom. Turzak looking for 4 wins. They're side by side in turn number 3. Turzak gonna bring it across the line. Win number 4 at Southern National.
Man, he was really hoping for that caution, and he got it, and he makes the pass to win the race. He started in 4th. The 3 cars in front of him all chose the inside on the restart. Turzak jumped to the top, played it perfectly, and he'll bring it home in 1st place.
Wow, you gotta be devastated if your driver of the 33 was out front for almost 70% of that race and just wasn't quite able to get it done. We're gonna take a look at the drivertees.com replay of that restart, everything that was to come. This is out of turn number 1. You'll see that Turzak dives it down on the inside. Justin Brooks tries to pinch him down. They cross here for the white flag, and that bottom lane, like we talked about all night long, just has the advantage. You can't do much on that top lane, and right here Turzak just had the speed, and Brooks nothing able to do it. Justin Brooks still crosses the line second, a hair in front of Casey Beatty.
Oh my goodness, what a finish there at the end. Late caution delivering action there in the last 3 laps. We're going to take you to a commercial here live on V-Speed, and when we come back, we'll have the results and the interviews from the top 3 live from Southern National.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
After the finish of a thrilling race, it's the end here for race number 7. Kyle Turzak takes the win away from Justin Brooks on a late race restart. He will take the feature win here tonight. Justin Brooks comes home second. He would have wanted to stay first. Casey Beatty rounds out the top 3 right there. An excellent showing here tonight from the Triple Crown champion of Season 1. Justin Crowe, a fast car and a heater tonight, comes home 4th. Brad Carpenter, a surprise in the top 5. A great drive from him all night long. Jake Sylvia could not hold that bottom, passed on the top lane. He comes home 6th. Jay Sale saw him running in the top 5 most of the night, couldn't quite hold it in the end, finishes 7th. Jake Grout saw him have problems earlier after he led the first 20 or so laps. He finishes 8th. Matt Zaccardo started on your pole tonight after the invert, ran great in the top 5, but after contact spinning from the marbles, finishes 9th. And Craig Wilcott rounds out your top 5.
And the rest of the field tonight, Kyle Adams after the spin brings it home 11th. Benjamin Gerhardt in 12th, Blake Nottestad in 13th. Alex Hallinar and Bradley Stefane both out early in 14th and 15th. And Kyle Martiuk did not take the green flag tonight.
Well, Kyle Martiuk did not take the green flag tonight. Bradley Stefane and others were laps down after incident early on in this race. That outside wall contact was hard. We're going to have our first interview here tonight. And right now it's going to be Kyle Turzak, the winner. Kyle, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm talking to you back-to-back nights after your win in the Rudolph 250 tonight. You bring it home here first for your 4th win in the Misfit Touring Series so far. How's it feel to go back-to-back on a stellar weekend?
It feels pretty good. The Rudolph was a great win. I got $100. And tonight, we rolled in, and I actually had to make my own setup for tonight because Ryan was out of town, and I didn't really know how I was going to feel about that. And I just tuned off what we had, and it actually was paid off, really. I feel like we were actually faster than Brooks right there, but when we were side by side after that caution, we got some net code right there, and I got some wheel damage, so that allowed him to pull up front, but that yellow saved us.
Yeah, you came through the field very quickly from starting back from 7th after the invert. First of all, talk to me about that contact between the two of you. You fought side by side there about halfway through this race, battling for the lead. Talk to me about being on the outside there.
Yeah, in officials last season, the outside was pretty good, and with this barbell update, it felt like it was just as good. And we were side by side for that long, and me and Burks always go back and forth. He's probably one of the best in the late model, if not the best. So, I was just pinching him down. He was pinching me to the wall. It was just clean, hard racing, nothing bad or anything. But we just got some net code. Now we weren't even close to each other off 2, and that allowed me to get in the fence off 2, and that got me wheel damage, and that allowed him to clear and pull away a little bit.
Yeah, it's always great to watch the battles between you two. It's always so clean and so great to watch. Talk to me about coming down pit road there right before the last restart.
Yeah, I knew after lap 80 the tires were gone. My first set was 51, 52, 52, 51 on the right rear, and I knew that it was time to come in, and because I was starting to slide, and I put an adjustment in and made it a little bit looser because I knew we only had 3 laps. So I loosened it up, put new right sides on it, and then I knew that if I even got close to Justin within those 2 laps, I knew I was going to be a lot faster, and I was.
Do you think, though, that tire advantage on the outside was allowed you to work back through that field? You started 4th on that restart. A lot of guys in front of you took the inside, and you were just able to ring it down to get on the inside of Brooks.
Yeah, we were choosing, and then I guess we had to re-choose, and I think everybody just got confused, and that allowed me to get to second. But it still got me to second, and I pulled a cross off 2, and I knew with all the extra grip I had so much bite. I just got in there, and I didn't really want to hit him or anything. I just want to do it nice, clean as possible, which I think I did. So, like I said, me and Brooks go back and forth all the time. He either gets me or I get him. Usually he gets me, but finally got one on my side.
Yeah, I said it earlier, but it's just always so awesome to watch you two battle it out on track. It's always an excellent product between the two of you. This is win number 4. Last week, since you weren't able to make it to New Smyrna, Jake Sylvia took the points lead away from you in the overall standing, but tonight Sylvia finishes 6th, you finished 1st. I'm not going to say it confirmed, but I think it's safe to say you'll probably be back on top of the points here after this race.
Yeah, I couldn't make it out last week. I had a 24-hour race, and I tried to join, but it was last minute, and I literally with the hour left, I was out of the car and I laid out on my bed and I was out, and I woke up to a whole bunch of text messages. You missed tomorrow. I was like, oh no. I knew I was not a good situation, but glad I can come out Southern National. Probably gonna run this place in real life next year. Just depends how everything goes, but I always love this track. Probably one of my top 3 on the sim for short track right now for sure.
I would have to agree. Top 3 for me as well. Wish I could run it in real life, but I'm glad that you might possibly get that opportunity. You'll have to keep us updated on it as well. Before I let you go tonight, anyone you want to thank, Kyle?
Yeah, I want to thank Coach Tim Shots, RKM Setup Shop. Thanks for Ryan and Jake Sylvia for the help on the setup tonight. I was very off in Q, and Jake helped me out in there. So thank you, Jake. And race, I just used what Ryan had for availability, and with this new update, there's not much. So I just tuned off of Sobo set we had, and it was actually really fast. I think if we didn't have that wheel damage, we'd probably be on Justin's bumper, if not past him. But yeah, thanks to Ryan and Jake. Thank you guys for the broadcast, and thanks to Kyle Adams for putting this on.
Well, congratulations, Kyle. It's a back-to-back for you this weekend here at MRL.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that was race winner Kyle Turzak. Right now, our other 2 drivers, Justin Brooks and Casey Beatty, not in our transfer to get interviews from them. So I don't think that we'll be able to talk to them here tonight. I imagine Justin Brooks loved the racing here tonight, and I know Casey Beatty was probably excited to be back after he hasn't made his appearance since winning the Triple Crown Championship last year at the end of Season 1. Well, we're going to roll ahead, preview next race. It's going to be at Oxford Plains 1 week from tonight. It'll be after Christmas. And Oxford Plains Speedway, I love this place. You're almost never not turning left at a place like that. And sometimes, though, that curb on the inside can be real dangerous, Sky.
People get surprised every time I say this, but I think this is maybe my favorite track to run on the entirety of iRacing. It is so much fun to wheel around here. It's so much fun to just try to rip that inside line. Like you said, you're turning left basically the whole time. It's one big circle. I don't know. I just love it. I think it always produces a lot of fun and a lot of kind of full contact racing.
I'm not going to lie. I think it's a great track as well. I've loved racing here in the late model stock, getting real close to that inside curbing. You're always turning left. I've found it a track to be great for me, but a favorite is kind of wild. I wouldn't be a favorite here tonight at Southern National.
I love Oxford Plains. One of my favorite short tracks for sure. There's a lot of good ones on iRacing. Southern National's really good too.
Oh, talking about Southern National.
Yeah, it was a great race tonight, Great battle at the end there after that caution. Turzak was just able to prevail over Justin Brooks, who I'm sure not very happy over how the race shook out at the end. That caution coming out kind of screwing him over, sending him back to second, and then the play for Turzak, taking him to the front of the field. Kyle Adams and Jake Sylvia at Misfit Productions, for Bradley Cooper at V-Speed, for DJ in production, and for Scott Shive up here in the booth. My name is Sky Shrek, and we will see you next week at Oxford.
We got the wheels extend so bold. Roads of fire, you're never cold. Chasing glory, feel the rush. This misfit crew, you can't hush. Engines roaring loud as thunder, speeding past you in our plunder. Feel that rebel heart ignite. We own these streets under the night. Misfit racing leads the way. Other leagues got nothing to say. We're the thunder in the storm. Watch us whirl. This is our norm. Tires screaming on the track. Other teams are left in the back. Adrenaline and gas combined. In this madness we all shine. Feel the heat as they approach. Victory's a roaring coach. Checkered flags on Misfits called with a giant standing tall. Engines roaring loud as thunder, speeding past you in our plunder. Feel that rebel heart ignite. We own these streets under the night. Misfit right. Engines racing leads the worker, speeding past you in our plunder. Feel that rebel heart ignite. We own these streets under the night. Misfit racing leads the way. Other leagues got nothing to say. We're the thunder in the storm. Watch us whirl. This is our norm. Tires screaming on the track. Other teams are left in the back. Adrenaline and gas combine. In this madness we all shine. Feel the heat as we approach. Victory's a roaring coach. Checkered flags are all we see. Misfits rule eternally. Burn the rubber, feel alive. See the sparks as we arrive. Adrenaline and gas combine. In this madness we all shine. This is our norm. This is our norm. This is our norm. This is our norm. Tires screaming on the track.